This is Tony Sales, and you know I got a lust for life. And you're listening to the Nothing Shocking.
Want to know what's going on in the world of music? Then tune in to the Nothing Shocking podcast, a non-genre based, all ages friendly rock and roll program. Join us weekly for interviews with all your favorite rock stars from the mainstream to the underground. You can find us at nothingshocking.libsyn.com or anywhere you download podcasts.
We're putting the band back together.
The numbers all go to 11.
I'm talking about bands that rock. Led Zeppelin. What about Sabbath? AC/DC. Motorhead.
Does that mean it's louder? Is it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it?
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
I get up off the ground and raise my head. Days like this, think I should be dead. One for Satan, two for me. Let's cheat the devil, it's fun, don't you agree?
Welcome to the Nothing Shocking podcast. I'm your co-host, Jeff Untied, and with me in Dog Bowl Studios is
Coach Nez.
You can find the Nothing Shocking podcast on Libsyn or any podcatchers. Like our Facebook page or follow us on Twitter at NoShockPod.
You can also find the Nothing Shocking podcast on Rock Rage Radio every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Central Time. Our sponsor is Ragged Records, located in downtown Rock Island, Illinois, and downtown Davenport, Iowa. We'd like to thank the Hong Kong Sleepover for allowing us to use their music for our intro and bumper ending. Tonight's guest is
Tony Fox Sales from Tin Machine,
Iggy Pop,
and Todd Rundgren,
and many, many more.
Oh, yeah.
He's going on tour this February and hitting Japan and the UK.
Yeah.
Along with Clem Burke and Kevin Armstrong.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, playing hits from Tin Machine, also playing hits from Todd Rundgren, and also doing some stuff from the Iggy Pop era.
I think he said he was going to try to do the Iggy Pop Lust for Life album in its entirety.
Oh, that'd be so cool to see that. So,
yeah.
Tony, bring it to the United States so we can come see you.
Yeah,
hey,
good luck.
Let's get to that interview, man.
All right, good night.
Good night. Tony, welcome back to the Nothing Shocking podcast, I believe 4 years later.
Yes, it's been a long walk.
It has been. I want to introduce to you my new co-host, Jeff Untied.
Tony, thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Hey,
Nice to meet you.
we are so excited to have you back on because you have some fantastic, exciting news. This February, you will be going on tour. In dates this February that include Japan and the UK. Can you talk a little bit more about how this opportunity came your way?
Yeah, sure. I got a call. I was at home. I got a call one day from a guy named Tom Wilcox in England with a company called Counterculture that he's the CEO of. And he said, listen, we'd like to ask if you'd like to be a part of the 45-year release celebration of the Lust for Life album.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, gee, that sounds like a lot of fun. That'd be great. Yeah. I said, all right, so listen, let me call you back. And that sounds good. Let me call you back in just a little bit, and we'll talk more about it. I said, however you want to do it. So about 15 minutes later, he called me back, and he said, how about let's forget just let's not have a 45-year Lust for Life. How about the Tony Sales tour? How about that? I said, well, that sounds pretty good. I'm up for that, I said, how about this? How about a Tony Sales tour and we play the Lust for Life album? How about that? And he said, yeah, that'd be great. So what we're going to do is we're going to present I believe the entire album, plus other songs from our varied careers, or sordid careers, I should say, with the people in the band. And Kevin Armstrong's playing guitar, and he's I guess he's musical director on this one. He did a tour with Tin Machine. Mm-hmm. He did one tour with us, and that's where I met him. And he's worked with everybody from Paul McCartney to Miles Davis, I think.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
But, he's a great guy and he's an excellent guitar player. So he's on guitar. And we've got Clem Burke is going to be on drums from Blondie.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And, I worked with Clem with a band called Chequered Past
mm-hmm.
that I put together with Michael Debar from Silverhead. And I guess he sat in with Power Station.
Yes.
After what's his face? It died. I forget his Robert Palmer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Robert Palmer died. Michael sat in with them, and Steve Jones. He was in Chequered Past as well as Nigel Harrison and Clem Burke. So it's sort of a reunion for Clem and I to get together to play.
Oh, so exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Yeah.
Well, when it came to, I guess maybe schematically putting this tour together, as far as pockets of the UK and pockets of Japan where you're going to be performing, how did you guys put this all out there? How did you map it out? Was there a method behind the madness?
I'm not sure exactly how they Tom Wilcox put this together. He said, I've got some dates in England that we might be able to secure. And I said, well, why don't we just start just securing them, Mm-hmm. And he came back, he's got like 12 dates. And it's what thrills me that we're going to play the Cavern where the Beatles, where they originated. Now, I know that now it's not actually a cavern as it was when they played there.
Yeah.
But it's the same location. It's kind of special to me that when I was a kid, I saw them playing there, I saw films of them playing there. And so it's great. I mean, I'm a fan as well, of different people. So, and I was a fan when I was a kid. So it pulls at my heart a little bit.
Oh, so cool.
Well, when you're getting ready to go on a tour like this, what kind of preparations does it take? Are you guys working out the songs, rehearsing?
Yeah,
practicing?
well, we're going to. I'm in Palm Desert, California, and the rest of the bands. Actually, Clem is in England at the moment, but he has a house out here in Southern California too. But he's all over the place with different groups. The rest of the band lives in England, so what we're going to do is we're going to fly to England and rehearse there for a couple of days.
Nice.
And then we were just offered a couple of gigs in Japan, so we're going to swing over to Japan and do 2 shows in Osaka and 2 shows in Tokyo within 3 or 4 days, and then fly back to England and do 12 or 13 shows there at different clubs all around and in London.
When it came to, I guess maybe this is maybe another management question or what have you, but when it came to, I guess scheduling venues, was there a certain type of venue that the management was trying to book for you? Did you have any say so?
I really don't know. I mean, Eric, I know that. I think I don't have the list of them in front of me, but I think 1 or 2 of them I have played with Tin Machine, but they're smaller venues, I believe. But we're playing in Ireland. I know there's a place in Ireland that we're playing. I guess I've played there with Tin Machine too. So or in Dublin, I'm not sure. I forget. There's so many things going back and forth. It's like overload, Yeah. It's just overload. You say how to get ready. Well, what I'm just doing is trying to rest up a lot, And I haven't played these songs really, and certainly I haven't played them live in about 35 years.
Right.
So I was like, I've got 40 or 45 songs sitting on my table that I'm going over again, and it's fun.
Oh, so cool.
Well, when you go on a tour like this, do you work in like any kind of like sightseeing days, or or is it just strictly business?
No, when I've been on tour with different bands for the last 58 years, and I love traveling. I played and toured Italy with an Italian band, and I played and toured Japan with a Japanese band. I mean, and so I saw things and experienced things that most tourists would never see in these places. Yeah. And I love going out and like I went to the Louvre in Paris. I went to in Italy to a bunch of museums and then I saw the Mona Lisa. I mean, I've really seen some wonderful things on my travels that I only saw in pictures in school before. You know.
Oh, so cool.
And it's it was funny. I was in Germany somewhere. I forget where it was, in Hamburg. I think there was a church that had Christ's loincloth in a gold box in the chapel. I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
very much so.
Yeah.
I guess I wanted to kind of bring this back to the set list. The plans are to play the Lust for Life album front to back.
Right.
But outside of that, have you and the rest of the touring band have decided, as far as songs go, what era and how many songs you're going to take from the Tin Machine area or anything like that?
You've caught me before this is even starting, which is great. But we haven't even gotten together as a unit yet to rehearse, to run all this stuff up. But we're going to do. I have a list of some of the songs that we're thinking of doing. We're doing a Neighborhood Threat, Iggy Pop, 5'1", Iggy Pop.
Yeah.
I Got It Right. These are Stooges songs. We're doing Dreaming by Blondie, which I guess Clem co-wrote. Mm-hmm. We're doing Fall in Love with Me, which Bowie and the Sales Brothers and Pop wrote on the Lust for Life album. Heaven's in Here from Tin Machine. I Need Somebody, Iggy Pop. The Passenger from Lust for Life.
Yeah.
Prisoner of Love from the first Tin Machine album. Rip Her to Shreds from Blondie's work. A tune by Kevin Armstrong called Run that we used to play with the Tin Machine. And tonight we've talked about, which was from Lust for Life 2.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
That's a pretty wild set right there. But and that's just to say it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about 12. We're doing 40-song sets, so it's going to be a good show.
Yeah.
I wish I was in Europe to see it.
I hope they have a stretcher there. It'd be good.
Now, did we talk about vocals at all? Who's tackling the vocals for some of these songs?
She was with Heaven 17.
Okay.
She danced and sang with them. She's covering the vocals. So it's going to be interesting,
Oh, very, very good.
I just don't. I don't have. It's weird. It's like, the thing is so new. I don't have any paperwork on anything with the bands.
Well, it sounds very exciting.
It is, and the musicians are really good. A couple of women in the band are write scores. They're like they're really serious writers, pianists, and they're really good. And I've never been in a band with ladies before. It should be interesting.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so tough question for you. 5 years ago when we first interviewed you, you were in retirement from the music business.
Yeah.
We just pretty much had those episodes where we reminisced about the Iggy Pop days, the Tin Machine days, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Yeah. So with this all happening for you, and you're going to be coming home mid-March from this tour,
Right.
Is it going to give you that itch to start creating new music again?
Oh, I guess I don't know if it's giving me an itch, but I mean, I it's a gift. You know, I feel like I was I'm beholden of a gift. You know, I mean, I remember when we spoke. I think I had done a tour with Tin Machine. For the last tour I did was a year and a half with Tin Machine.
Yes.
And at the time was living with my family. I have 2 kids, and I was living with my stepdaughter too, and a wife, and that family's. I mean, they're still my family, but that's all. She died of cancer, and my kids now. My son lives in San Francisco and has a couple of music schools there, and my daughter is a mother of 2 and lives in Wisconsin.
Oh wow!
So and my son has 2 daughters. My daughter has 2 sons. So I've got 4 grandkids.
Nice.
And so the family's getting big.
Yeah, absolutely.
Start a baseball team.
I guess going back to me asking about the creation of new music.
Yeah.
Us doing this podcast, we've come into a lot of musicians that have referred to the Sales Brothers of being big influences on them. You and Hunt being a big influence on their musical sound from the years past. And you have a huge cult following of musicians that hearken to you guys of your past endeavors, and you have tons of fans that want more from you. Will we ever see some new material come back out from Tony Sales or Hunt Sales as far as that is concerned?
Well, Hunt released an album. He had an album out with his band.
Yes.
He had a band. I mean, he just released an album, I think, last year. So, I mean, he's working on something else right now. Like when I referred to what I was doing last time we spoke, I actually went back to school and was trained and became a certified drug and alcohol counselor.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
And was working in that field for a while, and trying to give back, what I so freely took for so many years. Yeah. But I haven't had a drink or a drug in 39 years, and but as well as the fact that I'm trained so that I can help guys that are addicted, and counsel them. Which is really creative for me, and it gives me the same high as playing at my bass.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it really it's there's nothing like seeing the light come on in somebody's eyes when they understand that they're being heard.
Yes, absolutely. But I must tell you, you're not answering my question, Tony. We're one.
What was the direct question?
We want Tony Sales music again. We want new music from Tony Sales. You have a cult.
I'm doing this tour, and I will be doing some of my stuff that I've written on the Fall in Love with Me. I'm doing that, and I mean, I'm not. It's the Tony Sales tour, but it's not all just Tony Sales material. It's my material that I've written with Bowie and with Iggy Pop, and some with it's different sides of me. And as you referred to, there are musicians from many genres that have respect for the Sales Brothers, and it's because we've done so many different kinds of music, and I mean, our foundation is R&B and jazz, so we come from a whole different side of music than most rock players. I mean, there's a lot of stretching out when we play with people. I mean, that's what David loved about it so much. That's why Tin Machine was my favorite band that I've ever worked with, because it was a different show every single night.
Absolutely.
It was really a free form situation. It was it was like doing a different painting every night. And it was just so satisfying artistically. And, so it didn't matter to me that people said, fuck, we don't like Tin Machine. That's not, Bowie should be doing Bowie. Well, Bowie was doing the real Bowie.
Right.
Which was, he was really stretching out with the Sales Brothers and Gabrels, and we were going places that none of us had gone before with our work.
I couldn't agree more. I mean,
we had a lot of free form stuff, and then a lot of stuff that were pop sounding songs, but we'd use them as base points to step off from, so that we could just get as nuts as possible,
But with you holding such a cult following of fandom, with your style, Hunt's style, that being said, do you have that itch to go back in the studio to write and record your own stuff again, or is that just kind of like?
Yeah, I always had that. I had that. It's a part of me. I mean, it's been that way since I was 11 years old. I felt like this. I've had that spark in me, that thing in me, that creative thing in me, that I've wanted to express myself through music and through vocals, and I'm ready to do it any time that there's a situation that warrants leaving my home to do it, I mean, it's not easy to pack everything up and get on a plane and travel for 11 hours, and then you get there and you get rehearsed and do 3-hour bus rides and then do sound checks. And it's exhausting.
It is.
Yeah, it was exhausting for me when I was 25 years old. I mean, I'm 71 now. Probably. I mean, but it still holds the same excitement for me. And I don't consider myself to be a jaded guy. I mean, I make sure I see something new every time I go out,
Oh, so cool. Yeah. We're so excited for you.
I mean, I was touring Italy with its top Italian singer named Albano Carisi. He's a gypsy, and he was married to Romina Power, who was my ex-wife's sister. Karen Power was my ex-wife, mother of my children, and so we did they're like the top singers, a couple of the top singers in Italy. So we did a tour with them. I did a tour. I sat in with them. I played bass with them and sang with them, and we did some TV shows. And I mean, we must have done like 20 dates or something up and down the Italian coast. I mean, it was great. I mean, I saw things I never would have seen just being a tourist. I mean, they took me to restaurants and places that, everybody knew who these people were when they walked in the room. It was amazing. And it was a lot of fun. It's just certainly a complete departure from the usual, the usual schedule on a U.S. tour where you play Portland and Seattle and all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, I'm playing like Rome, and I mean it was really a trip, man. It's just no pun intended, but it really was fantastic,
Absolutely.
And I gained a couple of pounds with the food. It was happening, as opposed to going back down to my fighting weight of about 90 pounds. I mean, but that's too little to weigh when you're 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
So, which I don't weigh that way now. I don't look like that now, but it's all right. But I've done all kinds. When I went to Japan, I went with a singer named Joe Yamanaka, who had been a child actor in Japan. He was half black, half Japanese. He was like a Japanese guy with an afro, I mean, he was wild. And on stage, he wielded a samurai sword, and he was like the David Bowie of Japan.
Oh, nice.
And I mean, that was a real trip. I had this bodyguard named Gan Yamura, who had been one of Nietzsche's soldiers. And, he told me some stories about Nietzsche that were incredible. Yeah. And this guy had his own army, you know? He was a Japanese writer, poet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he committed suicide, I believe, Harry Carey. But he was, it was amazing, the stories that he would tell me, you know. And one day I got a knock on the door. I'm in my hotel room in Japan, and there's a knock on the door. He says, Tony, it's Gunsong. I said, oh, yeah, so what's that? He says, oh, you won't go get tattoo. I went, I don't think I do. He said, I take you to where the Yakuza gets tattoo. And I said, I know, I'm going to pass. I'm going to go sleep. You know. But I think Hunt went with him. Hunt got a big fucking tattoo on his leg or something. That's like an oil painting, you know. Yeah. Like really, you know, I actually wish I'd gone. And I think maybe David went with him too. I think David had a picture of Iman riding a dolphin on his calf. The dolphin jumping out of the surf with Iman on the back of the dolphin with a serenity prayer behind it.
Oh, so cool. Yeah. So cool. Jeff, you got the next question?
No one's ever seen that, you know?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm new to the Chequered Past. Can you tell me a little bit about the origins of Chequered Past and what happened to that band?
It was I think in 1981. It was Steve Jones and Michael DeBar and Nigel Harrison and Clem Burke and myself. Michael and Nigel and I were friends, and we'd run around L.A. and playing and doing different stuff. We played different, like the Palladium or the Whiskey or wherever, and with different things. And then Steve Jones came to town, and he sort of became part of the gang, and they were hanging out, and we all decided to get a band together, you know. So he and DeBar wrote a bunch of tunes, and I co-wrote with him on a couple of them, a few of them, and we went in the studio. We decided that Michael said, "Hey, listen, I've got a good name, Chequered Past. I think it really just tells it all like it is right there with all of our backgrounds." I said, "Yeah, that's pretty good." Yeah. So we wrote a song called Underworld, which is the theme of the Chequered Past. And Michael sings his story, and then Steve Jones and then Johnny Sales sings his story, and it's a good tune.
Yes. You know, with Chequered Past being a supergroup, why did that band only release one album? Was it a record label thing, or was it just the members of the band had so much?
It was a record label thing, and the guy Michael James Jackson produced the album, and it didn't work. It was like it was one of those situations where the demo sounded about 1,500 times better than the album, you know. and sort of like we all went, let's just go with the fucking demo, man. It's awesome, you know. And I forget where we cut that, but some studio, I forget town in L.A. But we just cut it ourselves, and then. And the demo got us the deal, and then when they took us in the studio, and it got too serious, and it blew all the character out of it, you know. Uh-huh. And like it's with a lot of things, you know, you don't want to get too serious and take all the fun out of it, you know. And that's sort of what happened. And so by the time we did the tours, we toured. I guess we toured the United States. It's sort of like, you know, we had enough. It turned into something that it didn't start out as, you know. We made a left turn someplace that didn't work. Yeah. You know?
Will you be playing any of those songs on the new tour?
No, I don't think we're going to be doing Chequered Past stuff. I don't, unless we do. But you sure ain't done it this way, which isn't an original tune, you know. I'm not sure. I don't think we're going to be doing any Chequered Past stuff.
Okay.
You know, it's mainly Bowie, Iggy,
yeah,
and all of us that have worked with both of them.
Nice.
You know.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Tony, we have one last question for you because we're running out of our allotted time. But
Okay.
So I didn't ask you this question way back in the day when we interviewed you 5 years ago. But okay, so the mystery of rock and roll, right? So the dawning of the internet and social media has taken the mystery away from rock and roll. You were a big part of the mystery of rock and roll with your time with Iggy Pop, with your time with Tin Machine, et cetera, with Todd Rundgren. Those days are over. The accessibility of artists are just right here with us. If we didn't have the internet, we wouldn't be doing this with you right now. As for you, the artist, what do you prefer more, the mystique and mystery of rock and roll, or do you like this new accessibility that people like me get to know you, just an average?
I mean, it's that's I want to answer the question, but I got to say, I mean, I'm a little bit older than the guys now, and I came into it. I was a little older than the guys that are around now. I saw all the best bands. I mean, that's the difference between me and some guy now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I saw all the bands. I went to one of Jimi Hendrix's recording sessions.
Nice.
I was at the house burning down session. They did Electric Ladyland, and that was right after pretty much I had met Todd Rundgren at a club called Steve Hall Scene in New York City, where we got up and jammed with Todd. A friend of mine introduced the Sales Brothers to Todd, and then we got up on the stage there and played for about 25 minutes or something. And the audience was a few of the guys from Led Zeppelin, Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Van Morrison, and Steve Paul was there, and I forget who, Johnny Winter maybe. I mean, it was like, I thought, how did I fucking get here? I mean, I was like 16, 17. I thought, how did I get here? This is a trip, huh? And the day before, my friend said, listen, I want you guys to come down to this club and meet this guitar player friend of mine, Todd Rundgren, at this club down in the Lower East Side. I said, that's great, man. What time? You were like 9, 10 o'clock? He went, no, about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, well, God, I guess we're going to miss school, huh? And so we cut school and went out,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you had to do then,
Nice.
So I guess I'm taking it that you prefer the mystery.
Am I answering that question correctly?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking it you're saying you missed the mystery of rock and roll.
Yes, I do. I missed it when I knew that there was another album coming out in 6 months, and I couldn't get it 15 minutes later on the internet, the whole
Right.
album and the outtakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't get the outtakes, and I couldn't get them arguing and a film of that. And I mean, there's no autonomy anymore, and there's no anonymity, So there's no way that any artist can record anything and have it come out and be waited for. It's out as soon as they record it.
Yep.
And that blows the mystique for me of art. That takes away the yearning that I think at myself. I'll just talk for myself, that as a fan of artists and musicians, of not knowing what was coming, and I couldn't wait to, it's like now you can go down and tell if you're gonna have a boy or girl, but like 2 minutes after she's pregnant, you know what I mean? So it takes all the, I mean, I know people now that are not doing that because they want to be surprised.
Right, yeah.
What a concept! I want to be surprised with my life, I don't want to be. You see, you don't have to believe in God, but you have to know that you're not God. Is my trip.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Tony, we're out of our allotted time for the evening. Is there anything that we left off tonight that you would like to plug or promote?
No. I just I think you got to look at Hunt Sales, at what he's doing now. It's pretty righteous stuff, and I did nothing that I want to promote particularly. I promote staying healthy and staying alive. That's what I promote a lot about.
Well, there's a couple things is that after we've had you on a few times in the past and now, we tried to hit Hunt up and he shot me down a couple times.
Oh,
yeah, so
put in a good word for us.
Yeah, put in a good word for us, please, if you could.
I sure will.
Thank you.
I sure will put a good word in. And Hunt's, and
I get it.
Sometimes you make Keith Richards look like a schoolboy, but that's. He's been pretty wild since he's about 15 years old. So I don't know.
Yes. So
I appreciate you guys having me on the show. I've had a great time talking with you guys. And,
it's been fun.
I'm happy that you're succeeding still.
Well, it's a pleasure talking to you every time. All right, man. Take care of yourself.
Thank you guys very much.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
If they ever take from